the yoga of vision. This will be different. We've made ourselves more aware of the words that constantly appear, pop up, intrude into our mind's ear as thoughts of every variety. We can attend to the serial, one after another, bubbling up of words and sentence fragments, associations, themed associations, dialogues, implanted schemes of words that are knowledges. And we know that feelings link and generate thoughts and story fragments powerfully, hijacking our attention, our awareness. Squiggles on paper or screens speak others' words into our noggins. We become cognizant of how we strangely lose ourselves in stories and screens for hours, days even. Words and analogs of people, places, and things, screen images, are perceived, interpreted as real and existent. We found that so much about words, stories, screens, implanted knowledges, bodily awarenesses, feelings are not what they appear to be naively, not what they are said to be by culture and pop knowledges. The assumptions of vision. It feels like I look out my eyes. A few casual sweeps of my eyes take in and capture what I need to know about the outside world. It feels like I see some kind of 3D space that we all live in. My eyes naturally grasp, put on display, the world, the place where our lives happen and where action takes place. When I close my eyes or go to sleep, the world waits and reappears when I open them again. When I close my eyes, there is nothing to be seen. I observe what's on my left and what's on my right, the scene all around me, which together make up what's out there. A few glances show me what's all around me. Yet, we'll easily see how the presumptions of vision, the assumptions of vision, though understandable, are utterly fallacious. Just like we presume and assume words in our head Legoing together, somewhat objective history, philosophy, religion, and science, we take for granted that our eyes' brains serve up the outside existence for us. But how do I actually see? What is the experience? Can I experience what it is really like to look at something as if for the first time, aware and cognizant of all the parts of the process? Find a comfortable place to sit. Try and quiet your mind, center your body awareness, feel your body, your breathing, the tensions in your neck, face, etc., and invite them to relax. My voice will guide us to experience vision in a way we almost never experience it. For a few seconds, close your eyes. Now pay close attention to the experience of non-vision for 2 minutes. Don't talk to yourself. Just become aware of eyes closed vision. Let yourself recognize what your eyes actually can take in when they're shut. Feel the texture of not seeing darkness. Move your eyes up and down, left and right. Depending on the lighting of your room, you may be looking at deep black or shades of gray. If you were outside, the eyes closed experience can well be a kaleidoscope. After images may show themselves at first colored bars, lines, lighter shades of black may move or seem to move around. Sometimes the black seems very dynamic, a kind of atomistic movement, and a kind of field rearrangement of blotches subtly moving. Sometimes little flashes appear. At times, shapes may materialize, then disappear. Relax as deep as you can, but keep bringing your attention to the experience of having your eyes closed. Start now. I suggest we do this pre-exercise again. It begins to prime us to experience what our eyes' mind actually captures. Again, relax as deep as you can, but keep bringing your attention to the experience of having your eyes closed. For a third of our lives, our eyes are closed in sleep, and we almost never really watch what there is to see. Start now. Stop now. You can do this yoga in many circumstances. Simply being aware that shutting my eyes casts a radically different reality into my mind is startling in its simplicity. Being awake and aware of the dynamism of eyes closed vision is new to many people. Sit quietly, center yourself, quiet the chattering mind. Open your eyes and consciously hold them fixated, centered on what is right in front of you. Keep your focus on one small thing or patch directly in front of you. This will require attention because our eyes usually do what eyes do: move, bounce, flitter constantly. Hold your eyes fixated on one thing, one point, one spot. Be aware of the small central area of focus or attention. Keep your eyes still. Don't move them, holding your eyes directed to one small area. Let yourself be aware of how small an area is lit up and sharply focused. Look at this area without naming it or describing it for a minute or two. Train your attention and awareness on one limited, narrow swath of the visual field. Start now. Stop now. Look again at the spot you've chosen to examine. Now, without losing fixation on that point, keeping your eyes glued to that small area, let your awareness recognize another part of this experience. Experience the periphery. Keeping the small central area locked on target, open your awareness to the surrounding periphery while keeping your eyes, your attention fixed on the same point you started with. Experience what's on the slight left to that central focus. The outside, unfocused area and somewhat recognizable part of the total visual field that is not the narrow central focus. Even attempting this at first may drag your attention, fixation from the original central point or area. Refocus and try and let yourself become aware first of the bright focused foveal center, but then at the same time become aware of the periphery. Above and to the right and below and to the left, your eyes see indistinct, what might be called out of focused things, while the central focus feels like a sharp and clear area. For 2 minutes, focus your vision on a single small thing or part of a thing, or a point in the total visual field in front of you. Keep bringing yourself back, holding focus, but then simultaneously expanding your consciousness, letting the part of the field of vision that is peripheral or surrounding, let that be seen, felt, and noticed also at the same time. Start now. Stop now. For yourself, try and put into words how the central focus, what I'll call the bright foveal center, feels different from the secondary, from the other awareness. What I'm also calling the undetailed, relatively colorless, indistinct periphery outside that central focus. But now move your gaze in a slightly different direction. Refocus yourself, quiet your chattering mind, relax your body, and close your eyes for a few seconds. Now open your eyes and hold your gaze on a completely new focused area. Feel your eyes want to jump around, but again, fixate on one thing, point, and force yourself to hold your attention right on that point. Once you can hold your attention relatively steady, once again, let that other awareness surface. The surrounding, up, down, left, right, secondary awareness of the periphery. The foveal center is quite narrow and small, but perfectly clear. If it's a thing you're examining, not a nondescript part of a wall, for example, it almost immediately brings up, the central focus brings up a recognition, a naming. For my room, my central focus alights on a window latch or a fold in the drape or an electrical plug. But each time I focus, the periphery feels much wider. For 3 minutes, move your head and your eyes around your environment. Force yourself to fixate on, focus visual attention on, let the foveal glands hold on to, fixate on one small part of the visual field in front of you. Allow yourself to be awake to this experience primitively. That is, simply feeling it in the way it presents to you. Have the experience of simple vision, simply observing one circumscribed point or thing right in front of you. Simultaneously, periodically, let yourself be aware of the outside the sharp focus center, the periphery. Explore the feeling experience of the focus and also of the periphery. In the periphery, attend to the degree of unfocusedness, the color or lack thereof, the part or proportion of the visual field it encompasses. Start now. Stop now. You might agree with me that this awareness is very different. We don't divide the world up into sharp, focused, central foveal parts and larger, outside, indistinct peripheral parts. As a matter of fact, we use vision all our live-long lives, but are almost completely oblivious to the simplest mechanics of eye movement and the components of the simplest glance. Do this yoga a few times. The mind-body doesn't want to have these experiences. It's unusual and possibly uncomfortable. But there's more. How the eyes actually move. Now for 2 minutes, you're going to pay close attention to your eyes and what you see. And during this time, you're going to consciously, on purpose, move your eyes. We seldom do this, moving our eyes on purpose, but we're exploring something different today. Staying awake to the narrow focus you've learned to recognize, keep your eyes on one area long enough to recognize and name, hear the label in your mind's ear, what you're seeing. Then immediately feel, recognize the peripheral, nondescript area surrounding the foveal focus area. Then, at your comfort or whim, consciously move the focus area. At first, let your eyes jump in small, separate jumps. Move around a relatively small area in front of you. This is what I meant by you're choosing to move your eyes, to move your visual field. Feel, be awake to each narrow, precise, detailed spot your eyes alight on. If you're looking at a thing, part of a poster, an electric plug, the corner of your room where the walls meet, feel how your eyes explore something to glean more info data to find out what it is. With each bounce, let your awareness focus on that small area and recognize it. Start small, tightly circling one small area. Then experiment with larger jumps. Feel the change from one visual fixation to the next. Move your eyes in approximately 15-degree jumps and fixate on some small part of your environment. Do this 5 or 10 times. Don't get caught in describing. Don't get caught thinking of many things. We're paying attention to vision today. And then move your head in a bigger way. Look at something completely different by turning your whole head. Again, let your eyes focus on a small area of fixation, but a completely different one. And then look at a larger area. Look up at the corner of your room. Look down at the floor. Look at your screen, then look away. Look out your window. Find something to examine in detail. Each time, become aware of the vision that presents itself. You're seeing something as if it's a vision presenting yourself, but this is a new awareness. Look back at your poster or at that tree outside your window. Feel each eye fixation as you look at something perhaps more closely than you have ever looked. Start now. Stop now. We've always imagined the visual world as a space, as a large 3D space with these things close, those things over there farther away. And ideally, if you have a nice view, those mountains or the sea or those buildings far away, way, way over there. But when we pay close attention to what we actually see, we realize, feel, perceive our eyes constantly moving in non-ideal, non-idealized ways. To see something, one individual thing in detail, my eyes jump around in very tight and narrow focused patterns. Scientists say the foveal, sharp focused part of our glance takes up only about 7 to 10% of the visual field. That's pretty narrow. Can you feel this? And my eyes jump in many different kinds of ways. Often, my field of vision bounces in many, many small focused fields to a completely different area of vision, then immediately to a third, fourth, etc. If I can pay attention in this new way, I can feel vision in a completely different and admittedly somewhat jarring manner. A challenge. For a few minutes, go for a walk by yourself. To begin, remember our first exercises. Quiet your mind once you're outside. Pay attention to the babble of thoughts that can go through our minds. Pay attention to what's in front of you visually. Remember our new way of paying attention to individual glances. Pay attention to the field of vision your eyes encompass. Let yourself be aware of each fixation your eyes make. Explore left. Focus on one thing, then another. Feel how you know something via your eyes jumping, focusing around that thing in constant and very quick bursts. Look far away. Look down at your feet. Feel how radically the focus can change without causing the slightest glitch or the slightest untoward feeling. Look down the road or street. Look at someone. Feel how your eyes explore that person, bouncing around the face, body, clothing, shoes, back to face. Start now. Stop now. And aside, the automaton of vision feels seamless, but is constituted of myriad upon myriad glances, large and small changes of focus, plus countless changes of frame of reference. And we don't sense any of these massive visual discontinuities in the slightest. Our body minds don't even recognize the experience of blinking. We blink 840 to 1,000 blinks every hour. If you sleep for 8 hours every night, that means you probably blink about 13,000 to 16,000 times a day while you're awake. That's 1,680,000 milliseconds, or 1,680 seconds with your eyes shut during blinks. That's about 28 minutes a day our eyes are unconsciously closed. Of course, blinks aren't registered consciously at all. We know nothing about them. We have no awareness of them. They're outside our awareness. Like almost all the other things our bodies do unconsciously. Millions, if not more, things our body does every second of every day, but of which we are not aware. Reading and screens. Find some written text and have it on your computer or phone. Now, compare to focus your attention on the screen right in front of you. Sit right in front of the computer or TV screen. Feel your eyes alight on the central focus that the screen attracts. Depending on your distance from the screen, your gaze might bounce up and down, serially focusing on one or another part of the screen. Let your eyes wander over the screen. Make yourself stay aware of how your eyes jump up, then down, to the bottom, to the small icons. Fixate on one small icon and feel how this is the powerful attractor of your eyes and awareness. Now, bring up and look at the text. First, look at the individual letters. Recognize individual letters, and then start to read. This time, stay awake to the larger process. Let your eyes follow the words and feel the words talk themselves into your mind. Now, swivel and look at some major object area of your room. Feel the radical shift of the visual field. What was right in front of you, taking up your whole attention and encompassing all that you could see. Words on a screen that felt like almost all that your eyes could see now is completely supplanted, exchanged for another scene. Without thinking or analyzing, do this for 3 minutes. Bring your attention to the screen. Feel your eyes fixate, gyrate, jump around the small screen, and listen to the words as they're spoken into your head autonomously. Then move your head and find something much farther away to look at. Feel what you are observing. If you have a window, during one glance out of your window, look upon a distant scene. Feel your eyes bounce to that car, a kid running, that maple tree, all aspects of that faraway scene. Back to the screen, then to the room, then to the outside again. Pay attention, feel, watch yourself, watching, seeing, observing. Start now. Stop now. This is vision. This is how we see. This is where we live. The world somehow emerges from the tens or hundreds of foveal, peripheral glances, the tens or hundreds of changes of frame, focus, distance, the constant but unconscious constraining of attention that gives us knowledge, awareness of our local environments. Another aside, everyday attention is weak, completely distracted, fragmented. We cannot hold bodily awareness for more than a few seconds. Thoughts drag us along wherever 50 times a minute. Feelings drive obsessive thinking and cognitive emotional looping. The visual environment constrains and distracts, and the eyes constantly bounce, refixate, recalibrate the visual environment. We seldom see consciously what is right in front of our noses because our ability to concentrate, hold attention is so feeble. Our eyes somehow gather myriad upon myriad shards, fragments, foveal glances, while our minds trick us into seeing the 3D world out there. All through our lives and throughout most of our days, we see but don't see. We look but don't observe. We're certainly not cognizant of the fragments or shards or individual visual snapshots our eyes are forever capturing. Fragmented and weak attention, constant word processing, distractions, and somewhat incoherent impulses all are deep habits acquired very early on, and they blind us. Thoughts rule. That is, thoughts go through our minds constantly, one unobserved thought replacing another, driven by feelings and the visual environment. Talking to myself drives attention and disallows steady attention to vision, feeling, and bodily awareness. Feeling drives and fixates attention and generates perseverative loops of feeling thought. Attention to thoughts masks, blinds us to myriad upon myriad aspects of the visual. But the visual drags thoughts also. The visual triggers thought all day long in every situation we find ourselves. Modernly, screens and being lost in fantasy drive attention for extremely lengthy periods and create a kind of attention to make believe, to what is not particularly real, that is superficial and also largely only half aware. We don't attend to our body, eyes, vision in ways that are possible. But we can be aware of the mechanics of glance fixating, and we can actually see with each and every glance for a short while how our eyes automatically change frame of reference, knitting all the shards of the visual focusing together. The next exercise will be a difficult one because it interrupts all our life's habits of seeing, but it will help us to see the world more realistically, a bit more as it actually is. For 5 minutes, we'll walk outside and apply all the visual exercises we've been practicing to the real world that you inhabit. Right now, to begin, close your eyes for a few seconds. Focus your attention on your body consciousness and your feelings. Quiet your mind as best you can. Till now, we've looked at a relatively static environment, forcing ourselves to remain doggedly aware of what we actually see and how vision actually operates. Now you're going outside and looking around in a new way. Open your eyes. To warm up, we'll begin by looking at the door to the outside. Let the fovea zoom, central glance, move around the door. Once in a while, make yourself be aware of the peripheral field too, if you can, but go back to the sharp focus. Stay awake to this way of seeing as you go out into the street for 5 or 10 minutes. Take your phone with you. I will periodically jolt you back to the awareness we're exploring. About after a minute, I will shout, "Wake up!" This will be a reset to come back to the exercise if you've lost yourself. At this point, center yourself, pay attention to vision in our new way, be aware. Ready? Let's go. You're outside. Feel yourself centered in your body. Look straight ahead, then sweep left, feeling the change of visual field, feeling your eyes fixate, bounce around, people, things, parts of your environment. Walk in awareness of how you are seeing things. Okay, begin now. Wake up, stop again. Feel yourself centered in your body. Feel that thoughts intrude. Calm yourself. Listen to your thoughts and then try and calm them. We almost immediately lose awareness of what we see and how we see, but we're trying to do things in a new way. Ready? Start walking. Pay attention. Begin again. Wake up. Feel yourself centered in your body. Now look at one person walking in front of you. Feel how we explore another person's silhouette, usually examining the body closely while simultaneously fixating on the face. Now, while doing this, can you momentarily bring back an awareness of the periphery? Those two kinds of awareness that we can pay attention to. Try this a number of times. Try and feel the process of your own eyes moving. Begin. Wake up. Feel yourself centered in your body. Feel that thoughts intrude. Calm yourself. Listen to your thoughts, but let them calm themselves. Look for a car. Feel how your eyes fixate on points on the car. Feel the pattern of glances that your eyes follow. Now we're going to return home. Continue to pay attention to vision, the actual visual field, to eye movements. This exercise tires us quickly, it's true. Do your best to pay attention on the way back to your place. Ready? Begin. Wake up. Now we're back home. You've now spent some minutes in a new world, the real world of conscious looking and viewing. Our own eyes are extraordinary organic machines that we can, rather imperfectly, meta-observe. Very circumscribed, central foveal vision feeds almost all awareness of visual scenes, while peripheral vision, in some ways, feels like a much wider container context. The constant and radical changes of visual focus are seamlessly and automatically integrated. And we are completely unconscious that any of these mechanisms are taking place. And the innumerable shards, individual foveal focusings of vision, are not only invisible as they happen, but are lost in the unceasing grind of the brain's processing. But we still imagine a completely stable 3D world that we call home.